Hey guys, just finished watching Atomic Blonde in theaters, and this movie was really interested me. I was kind of intrigued by it after seeing the first trailers. I did a trailer reaction to it here too, so you can check that out there. But it kind of intrigued me with the first trailer that dropped and stuff, with her jumping out of the things and the action and stuff, and all the trailers showing a lot of action. And I think I only really watched the one or two trailers for it. I didn't watch all kinds of stuff, so I didn't really have any idea what I was getting into with this movie, but I found out just before watching it that I knew that it was going to be done by David Leitch or something like that. David Leitch, who also is going to be doing Deadpool 2 and did John Wick 1 and 2. So I think this is going to be. It was interesting to seeing that, and that's what I liked about this, is that it was the same guy, and I was like, okay, so this guy's good. He's done this stuff before with John Wick. He's proven himself. But this is not John Wick. I thought this was going to be a female version of John Wick, and yeah, they do make her Charlize Theron out as a badass and all that stuff, and I think I would like to see this character is a badass and all that stuff. But the action in this movie, it feels like it was turned down just a little bit. Just because there wasn't opportunities for her to be as badass as she was, as they built her up to be, to make her out to be in this movie. And even the characters are talking about Charlize Theron's character. Was it Lorraine Brabant? Lorraine, and it didn't really like the act. Like, they built her up. Everyone's talking, oh, she's a super spy, and she does, hold her own and stuff, but there's only a few parts where she did that, and some of the action pieces, there was like 2 long action pieces, and that's it. The rest were just little ones, blip, 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 right here, through here and there, and those 2 long ones were really good. They were really good. They were not as big as like a Jason Bourne type movie action set pieces. There were some big, so there was like a car chase. They weren't really as big as other stuff. So I'm looking here at the budget, only $30 million for this, which actually I think the first John Wick did it for only $20 million for the entire movie. So, and it seems like that movie was a little bit bigger than this. If you were to be watching, had the choice between Atomic Blonde and the first John Wick, or even John Wick 2, I would say go with either John Wick movie or even 1 and 2 and just watch both. If you had the choice on Netflix or something like that, I would go with that, because this movie for me, it felt a little slow at the beginning, and it didn't really it was like, oh, actually no, and then it was only like almost more than halfway in when the big action pieces started going on, and then you got 2 action pieces, one right after the other, and that's when it was like, okay, those are fun, and okay, we're going down again. And so there was a few times where they were long action pieces, and they feel like they could even be like one shot or something like that, and these look pretty cool, and I think they showed parts of them in the trailers and stuff. But I mean, it's just the trailer showed all the action stuff, and there was not much, the rest of it other stuff was kind of just like, okay, instead of it being an epic thing, I don't know, it just wasn't. It didn't grip me in as much as I wanted it to. There wasn't enough action. What little action there was pretty good, the way it was done, but it still wasn't still the same action pieces. If I compare the regular just one action scene to a random action scene in like John Wick movie, I would totally pick the John Wick one by far, because it just feels so much more better and more he's just going and chomping through guys in John Wick. And in here, she wasn't shooting as much as stuff. She didn't use a gun as much as John Wick does in his movies. But it just didn't feel as I mean, the action kind of feels the same, but it just feels like died down a little bit. Instead of, John Wick being turned up to 11, this one feels like it's turned to like 7 or 8, the action in here, compared to John Wick. So it's just not not at that level. Now, it doesn't get me disappointed or worried about Deadpool. I feel like the guys can still do this, and Ryan Reynolds will still put his take on it and stuff. So I think with that, they're still the cast perfect for directing Deadpool. If I'm not mistaken, I think I'm not sure if it's just David Lynch or the duo directors who are doing that Deadpool from John Wick. So it was an interesting it was an okay movie. I mean, if you're gonna watch it on Netflix, I would say okay, yeah. You know, it's I would watch it while doing something else, maybe. I mean, or something like that, just because there's parts where I just found it boring. I mean, the action part is okay. Yeah, so this movie, I don't say run out to the theaters and go see this. It's not worth it. I would say go watch Wonder Woman or Spider-Man again, or something like that. This movie was just not worth it for me. So it was just kind of like, disappointing. Because I think I loved Charlize Theron, the way she did her stunts and did the fighting and stuff. That looked really good. The acting in it was pretty good. It's just everything else just kind of, it's just, And it didn't really get me. The story didn't even suck me into it to where I was trying to predict what was going on or anything like that. I wasn't even trying to predict what was going on. It was just kind of flat. This movie kind of a little flat. Some of the action scenes were okay. Their whole movie feels like it's like a 4 or something like that, a tone level, interesting level, and then all of a sudden it goes up to like a 7 for the action, for the 1 or 2 long action scenes which were there, and they're not really long. They're regular length action scenes. Now that I'm thinking about it, they're not really really long action, like compared to John Wick. There's just like barely any action scenes in this. So the twists and turns were okay. I didn't see any of them coming into it, but it just didn't suck me into it and stuff like that. It didn't really, it didn't. The movie is supposed to kind of get you hooked within like 5 seconds or the first 5 minutes, get you hooked and have you into it, just like a high and stuff. And I really was not on a high watching this movie or anything like that. So yeah, I don't recommend this movie. I would like to see. I think the story and these characters are interesting and all that stuff. I just think if they were to take the way they did, take the John Wick styling and do it with this, people are just talking online about doing. I saw articles talking about maybe possibility of crossing over this with John Wick. I think that would be perfect if you bring Charlize Theron's character from this, Lorraine, and you throw her into John Wick, and that's it. You forget about this movie and just kind of whatever. I mean, you bring the character, but and have her join the John Wick cast with the same people, same writer, same stuff like that, and the same turned up to 11 style fighting. I think that would be a really cool idea. But to bring John Wick into this movie style was just too much. And I think maybe I think the plot was a little complicated. I mean, I kind of figured it out by the end of it, but it was just kind of, I don't know, it just wasn't enough. Going into this knowing that it's the guys who did John Wick and stuff, you're expecting at least that level, that level perfectness, that level of action, and didn't even hit that at all. So yeah, it was kind of just a little bit of a letdown, this movie. So yeah. So all in all, I give this movie about a 6.5, maybe a 6 actually. It's okay to watch. I just feel like if you're half asleep, it's not gonna, it's not like one of those movies where it'll just suck you in and give you that high that you were looking for when you're watching a movie. It doesn't give you that. It's what I expected from this, being the guys from John Wick, but this movie is not what I was looking for. So yeah, a bit disappointing. So let me know, you guys, what you thought if you saw this movie. What you think of Charlize Theron's performance? And I'll see you guys in the next movie. Peace out.
You're still here.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, guys. Peace.
It's over.